Certainty Principle by David Light, Chapter 3. The Certainty Principle. My horizons are forever. Manifest my mandate. Account for my incomes. Surrender my outcomes. Depose my identity. The Certainty Principle. Quote, man is a miracle. Unquote. Pico della Mirandola, 1486. Mirandola's Dignity of Man was the central philosophical manifesto of the Renaissance period. Over less than a decade, his powerful defense of humanism would elevate the work of influential contemporaries and followers, including the Medici dynasty, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and eventually Shakespeare. Descartes, Galileo, Newton, and other antecedents of the Enlightenment period followed. Though condemned by the Church, Pico defended the primacy of self-determination and free will until his death by poisoning in 1494. Certainty is the supremacy of self-determination. Certainty is in the bones. But how do I reliably attain and sustain it? What is the formula for certainty? The uncertainty principle in physics establishes that the accurate determination of both the position and the momentum of an object simultaneously is impossible. Heisenberg, 1927. What then can be said of the accurate determination of my place and motivations? Am I doomed to uncertainty? Many smart people think so. Quote, the whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, and wiser people are full of doubts. Unquote. Bertrand Russell, 1963. Russell's intellectual platitudes suggest that we should even doubt his own wise assertion about doubt. Remember that Blaise Pascal said that it is not certain that all is uncertain. The certainty principle doesn't attempt to find a solution to the certainty-uncertainty dilemma. TCP is a decision to rise above the dilemma. Mirandola's miracle was the individual choice of what was certain for him. He could have just as well written that man is a mess. Likewise, I am compelled to choose, and I choose to elevate myself above my brain's divisive cognitive chaos, which is the very heart and cause of all uncertainty. Once I decided to view the world from beyond this mundane framework, I could see that the 5 elements that make certainty scientifically accurate. C equals H times M times IN over O times ID. The arithmetic of certainty. Certainty increases as my horizon expands, as I act on my mandates and account for my incomes, all the while diminishing my identification with outcomes. That's a simple but accurate statement of the certainty principle. Authorizing my identity to primary importance will occlude my horizon of achievement like a storm front, diminishing certainty. For certainty to prevail, I need to overcome the problem of outcomes getting stuck in my brain's identity filter. Stuck in the moment, if you're familiar with that phrase, that's what we're talking about. For example, getting fired or not getting a job or promotion can be devastating to my identity. So why rely on it? Identity free, I am in control, my horizons are unlimited, and I have the clarity to proceed with my duties mandated by my goals. With my horizon fixed in the distance, I can attend to the problems and tasks presented to me, unencumbered by the stories in my head. The certainty principle states that certainty equals the product of my horizons, my mandate, and my incomes, divided by the product of my outcomes and identity. Notice that when the denominator is big, certainty is small. When the numerator is big, my certainty is great. My sense of certainty and confidence is only limited by allowing outcomes and identity to dominate my long-term perspective on purpose. If my horizon is short and my preoccupation with my brain story is great, I will be timid, unable to confront and take responsibility for the problems and opportunities that life constantly presents to me. If my horizon is vast and I am free from a burdensome, time and energy consuming identity, I become confident and at ease with the unfolding reality. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl states, quote, "Life ultimately means taking responsibility to find the right answers to its problems and fulfill the tasks which it constantly sets before each individual." Unquote. Frankl, 1946. If you're familiar with Frankl, this particular book, Man's Search for Meaning, is probably one of the most important books ever written. Frankl was in, held in a concentration camp during World War II and lost most of his family. And his story is truly remarkable. TCP tells me that I can optimize my performance if my perspective is great enough and if I can learn to free myself from the nagging belief that I am anything other than the actions I constantly take in addressing internal responsibilities. In Plato's allegory of the cave, Plato 380 BC, Plato shows us that it only requires an act of courage to climb, quote unquote, out of the cave, to recognize that these two achievements are really one and the same. There is factually no human reality outside of Frankl's mandate. We are only the instantaneous choices of action that we take or fail to take as they present themselves. That's it. It's simplicity itself. My identity, my stories are merely an illusion, merely shadows on the wall of the cave preventing me from seeing Plato's truth. You are what you do, not what you identify with. Do you want power? Stop identifying with power and learn to evaluate and use power, the power you have, effectively so that it grows. Do you want money? Let go of identifying yourself with money. That's money, cash per se, and learn the algebra of using money effectively to multiply itself. So, what is the payoff of the TCP formula? It's a sense of confidence and well being that comes from freedom from fear and regret. The knowledge that regardless of the illusions of identity, nothing is impossible when your horizons are forever.